Каждый вторник в 12:10 один из самых известных раввинов нашего времени, Маниса Фридман, в прямом эфире отвечает на вопросы наших слушателей. Вы услышите мнение самой мудрой книги человечества – Библии, о самых сложных проблемах, стоящих перед современным миром. Присылайте ваши вопросы заранее на наш email info@rusa.fm или во время передачи по СМС 347 460 08 77.
Всем, кто сейчас настроен на радио USA, сегодня вторник, а во вторник я с радостью говорю «Thank God it's Tuesday» вот в это время, в 12:15, 12:20, как получится. Но все, тем не менее, могу сказать «Thank God it's Tuesday», потому что с нами этот час, бесценный час, проводят самый светлый, самый мудрый раввин нашего времени, рэбби Маниса Фридман, и вот сейчас он уже с нами, а я, между прочим, только что приехала из Израиля, вот сегодня прилетела в 6 утра, был самолет, и самолета, правда, сразу сначала проголосовать, а вот потом тот же на радио, на передачу. И так как я была в Израиле на Всемирном сионистском конгрессе, и это и там политика, и там голосование, и тут голосование, вот хочу задать сегодня вопрос раввину Манису Фридману, как вот у нас вообще совмещается вот эта вот религия и власть, и, в общем, хотелось бы задать ему вопросы по поводу евреев в политике, совмещается ли это или так, или иначе. Вот такой разговор сегодня мы задумали с раввином Манисом Фридманом, так что вот сразу же перехожу прямо к нему. Rabbi Manis Friedman, hello, thank God it's Tuesday. As I just told our audience, I flew in from Israel this morning, 6 a.m. I was there for the World Zionist Congress. A lot of Jews getting together, talking politics, flew in today. First thing I did, I voted, of course. So basically, the topic kind of just fell on us today itself. We're talking about Jews in politics. This is the conversation that I would like to raise. And the question is, do Jews and politics mix? How does religion and politics align or don't align? Is it something that can coexist? Is it something that should coexist? So I do really have a lot of questions, especially that I did have certain experience in the last week.
Israel?
Yeah. Israel, World Zionist Congress, we had the Million Man March. Everything is kind of religion and politics mix here. Then I come here in New York. We have certain religious Jews endorsing Mamdani. So, you know, it's like there are Jews in politics. And the question is, and of course, when there's Jews, there's religion. And so it's Jews, religion, and politics. And the question is this a healthy mix, or can we make it a healthy mix?
Well, the first rule is, if you're voting in a country, you vote for what is best for the country. That's what voting is about. The reason citizens get to vote is because every citizen is concerned for the welfare of the society, and who should be in charge and who should be running the country is something that people should determine. So the first rule is, if you're voting, you vote for what is best for the country, not for what is best for Israel. That's not nice. It's not honest. It's not legitimate. You don't vote for what is best for you. You vote for what is best for... Otherwise, there shouldn't be any voting at all. The whole point of voting is that everybody is concerned genuinely for the welfare of this country. It just so happens that whoever is good for America is probably also good for Israel. And whoever is not good for Israel is probably not so good for America either. So it works out nicely. But to vote for someone strictly on the basis of whether he's good for Israel, that's not nice. So just to be honest and to be upright, you vote for what is best for the country. Because when you're voting as an American, you think like an American.
Rabbi Friedman, but in general, religion and politics, it seems to be contradictory. Is it something that's in general contradictory? Because, we do try to avoid this concept of religiosity. But nevertheless, if a person is observant, the person serves God, and that makes that person religious. Well, at least it's a word we use for people to understand what we're talking about. Serving God and being in a power position, is there a contradiction? Is it something that can work together? Because I kind of just came from that. I came from the World Zionist Congress, where there are different levels of Jews on different observance levels. Some are very, very observant and very cautious about their observancy. Others are sometimes not at all, and some are kind of even a little bit in opposition to anything God-related. So you have a very big mix of different type of Jewish people, and yet the place is it's political place. World Zionist Congress is about budgets. It's about distribution of power. It's a political place. Is it something that can work well? Again, going back to the original question, can religion and politics coexist?
And I think in some way they can't exist without each other. Trying to separate them has been a disaster on both sides. It's a disaster for the religion and it's a disaster for the country. You can't separate them. The only reason there is government is because God said there should be government. It's one of the 7 Noahide laws that every society should set up a court, a system by which morality is enforced and encouraged and so on. So it's a godly idea, and it doesn't work without it. So both parties are making a terrible mistake. If you think religion precludes politics, or if you think politics is without religion, it's a disaster both ways. What does it mean to vote? You want what is best for the country, so you vote for the candidate that you think is best for the country. Well, what's best for the country? An atheist? Maybe. Could be a nice guy. Could be a guy with good morals, good values. On the other hand, if he's religious, who knows? Make him a good person? A fanatic, a dictator? So, without religion, there is no government, really. There's certainly no democracy. The democracy of America, which is probably the only successful example of it, to whatever degree it is successful, is because it was based on the Torah. If you read the writings of the founding fathers, it's full of quotes from the Torah. In fact, one of the major motivations for coming to the New World is for freedom of religion. Because the countries that came from imposed religion. So separation of church and state, which is a kind of an interesting idea. Jews were very relieved to find out that in America there's a separation between church and state, because we always suffered from the church-state alliance. When Rome became Christian, it was the end of our history there. When Europe became Christian, not only in religion but in government, the expulsion from Spain, was that a religious thing or a government political thing? Politics and religion became the same thing, and we suffered. So when we heard that America separates church from state, we thought, this is going to be safe. For a while it seemed like it. But the truth is it was never separated. We never separated church and state. Separation of church and state means the church does not dictate. Not that we don't believe and that we don't pray and that we're not really recognizing our dependence on God. That was not separation of church and state. Separation of church and state meant you can be as religious as you want and the government will not impose. So it's not separation of freedom of religion, does not mean freedom from religion. People came here to be free, to be religious. What does it mean to be religious? To live by God's values, by biblical values. It was not Christian, it was not Jewish, it was just biblical, which is perfect. A Jew will do it Jewishly, a non-Jew will do it none, but that's the point. The point is we live by morality because that's the only way that a society can function in harmony. If you submit to God's will, then your ego is softened, your greed is controlled, your self-interest is not the primary motivation, so you can tolerate people who disagree with you. You can actually pass laws in their favor because certain things is just right. That's a beautiful thing. Like people who are very religious pass laws that say that you have to tolerate people who are not religious. Where do you get such objectivity? Guarantee you the right to live and speech and whatever, and they disagree with you on everything you say. And yet you vote for their rights. How can that happen? It can only happen if there is something bigger than you, something greater than you, something more important than you. So without the religion, it's a bad word, but we'll use it. Without the religion, there can be no government. And there can be no democracy, for sure. You can't even have a benevolent dictatorship. It's like somebody just said this morning on the news, he's voting against Trump because Trump cannot be trusted to have power. And my first thought was, who can? Who can be trusted with power? Doesn't power corrupt? Absolute power? Absolute corruption? So who can be trusted with power? Nobody. The best we can do is to elect somebody who submits to a higher power. But if he is the ultimate power, not good. So it's a very risky thing to give anybody any power. Very risky. On the other hand, if nobody has any power, then you have chaos. You have anarchy, which is worse, much worse. Like any government is better than no government. But we've suffered a lot from bad government. We're hypersensitive to it. In fact, we're nuts. We're crazy. Jews who are voting for Mondani, what's wrong with you? What do you think he's good for? Free rent? What is that? That's a bad idea. So, yeah, we have such a bad history with governments that we don't know what to do or where to turn or where to look or where to... So the best thing is stop voting like a Jew, vote like an American. A good American. What is best for America? What is best for New York City? If you really think Mandani is best for New York, then vote for him. How could you think he's best for New York? That's a good question. But don't bend over backwards trying to make pieces fit together that don't fit together.
Yeah, we have another interesting day happening in our life and something to look forward to and worry about a little bit until the end of the day when we'll find out, and then we'll probably worry even more or not. I don't know. How are we going to feel?
So it's fascinating to sit and watch how God runs the world. If he loses, wow. If he wins, wow. What is God up to? What's going on? But it will all be good either way.
I keep on passing that message on to everybody. I said, Rabbi Fridman said, whatever it's going to be for the good. And of course, it's going to be for the good. Rabbi Fridman, but I want to go back. Like I said, there's elections. And we have the most important, the most worrying election that we have, of course, is today for citizens of New York, and not only because New York is the capital of the world. So pretty much it's something nerve-wracking, should be for everybody. So God willing, the outcome is going to be the best for everybody. But as I said, I flew in fresh from Israel, where people are also voting, and they're voting in the World Zionist Congress. And this is another big argument that Jews have. Well, first of all, the World Zionist throws a lot of people for a loop, but that's not even the point. The World Zionist Congress is made up of very many different levels of observancy, of views, of everything, and Jews gather from all over the world, and they're trying to make the best decisions for the Jewish people. I mean, this is the Jewish Congress. And something that I heard during the Congress, as I said, I've heard few opinions. Some opinions, of course, are we have to be 100% do things by the Torah, be most concerned first with everything that Jewish people should be concerned with, which is Torah laws, Torah way of life, kashrus, praying, and everything like that. And this is the most important thing. And then there's another side in the World Zionist Congress that says this is not where we practice Torah. Torah is important. We know what we're all about. But this is Zionism. And for Zionism, we need everybody in all walks of life. We need people who are reform and conservative and just love Israel. So, and of course, my question is, which is the right position? This is World Zionist Congress. Should it be about more Torah values and trying to implement the Torah way of life, or should it be more about, getting as many Jews together? Doesn't matter what they stand for, just as long as we unite and figure it out from there.
Well, that's such a religious statement. As long as we unite, as long as we are one people, that's very religious. They can't separate. You cannot separate the two, especially in Israel. You can't live in the Holy Land and make believe you're secular. It just doesn't work.
But people do it very well.
They're not doing it so well. The country is torn apart. Frustration is everywhere. There's never been such a messy political system. And there's never been such dogmatic, insensitive religiosity. That polarization is horrible. And it can't last, it can't be. So the government in Israel, their primary responsibility is to make life easier for all people in Israel, not to favor one group over another. So whether you're religious or not, whether you're Ashkenazi, Sephardi, whatever you are, the government is here to make your life easier. The government is not there to make you religious. On the other hand, if it weren't for religion, we wouldn't even bother with government. We would figure every man for himself, and whoever survives wins. It's always been a mystery to the world. Israel is a Jewish state. It's for Jews, where being Jewish is not important. How crazy is that?
It is crazy.
Yeah. No, we're just a democracy. The Arabs living in Israel are as Israeli as the Jews living in Israel. That's true. So why do you call it a Jewish state? Why is every Jew who comes to Israel immediately a citizen? Why? Is that a little too religious? No. When religion gets separated from life and life gets separated from religion, both suffer. Both suffer. So, should the government pass religious laws? Of course not. Religious laws are bigger than government. So imagine a government who gets together and says, everyone must observe Shabbos. Who are you to tell people to observe Shabbos? God already told them, if they're not going to listen to God, they're not going to listen to you. Unless you're going to punish them. This is getting nasty already. Punish people for not keeping Shabbos? Overstepping your limits.
But this is a big one in Israel. It's huge. A lot of people have a problem with the government because of the mandate not to work on Shabbat, for things to be closed on Shabbat. This creates a really big problem for a lot of people and actually creates a split between observant and non-observant Jews in Israel.
That's why one woman in Israel said to me, I want to keep Shabbat, but do I have to become religious to do that? I said, no, don't become religious. Just keep Shabbat. What she meant was, I want to keep Shabbat, but I don't want to be forced. Can I just do it voluntarily? I said, of course. That's the only way to do it. So people who are not religious get the impression from the religious parties and from the religious attitudes in Israel that you have no choice. You must keep Shabbat. You want to do it voluntarily? Not good enough. We have to control your observance of Shabbos. We have to police it. It's horrible. It's horrible. So, Jews are supposed to keep Shabbat. When Jews get together, You want to have a Shabbat atmosphere on Shabbat. That has nothing to do with government. Everybody knows that you have to give charity. If you see somebody's hungry, you have to feed him. Can the government enforce that? That would be such a disaster.
Rabbi Fridman, but what about no transportation running on Shabbat, no stores and restaurants open on Shabbat? That's kind of enforcement of Shabbat. Is this a good or a bad thing?
It's not really an enforcement. It's a cultural reality. We don't shop on Shabbos. We don't. So, nobody was ever arrested for shopping on Shabbos or for driving a car. Why not? If the government states that Shabbos has to be observed, why was nobody ever arrested for violating Shabbos? The rules or the laws come from the culture. People want to have a Shabbos atmosphere, so you don't have stores open and you don't have buses honking and okay. So you created a Shabbos atmosphere. You're not enforcing the observance of Shabbos.
Rabbi
In
Friedman.
America, there was a problem that if you worked on Sunday, you were punished. That's not good. Of course, on Sunday, all companies give their workers off. Punish them if they come to work? That's beyond the role of government. So the reason the stores are closed, the shops are closed, is because that's the Jewish culture, not the law of the land. Obviously, people elect a government that will support their culture. They're going to elect somebody who's going to strip you of your culture, like Mamdani. It's crazy to vote for him. He does not support your culture. So, now if the religious segment of Jews in Israel would make one confession, admit one thing you did wrong or you're doing wrong, and don't tell me there isn't one thing you're doing wrong. There are a lot of things you're doing wrong. But can you admit one thing? Come out publicly and say, we made a mistake, we did this wrong. And on the other hand, those who are secular, you did nothing wrong. Your lifestyle is perfect. Your values are great. Admit one thing. If we could do that, we would have shalom bayis. We could have a perfect society. Those who want to be religious will be religious, those who don't won't. But we will have a perfect society. You know, it's like people say, the rabbis, back in the olden days, sat around and made laws telling people what to do. They sat around making plans. How can we make everyone's life better? What about those people who violate all the laws of the Torah? Yeah, how do we make their lives better? That's what government plans. That's what government does. So here you had very religious, very pious rabbis sitting around thinking, how can we make life better for those who are not religious? That's called government.
Rabbi Friedman, what is your opinion, your take on what happened last Thursday in Jerusalem, the Million Man March. Actually, I have to say I was again in the epicenter of the whole thing. Our hotel, Yerushalayim 33, was actually exactly where the gathering happened. And it was big. It was a huge statement. Maybe it wasn't 1 million people, but probably around 500,000 that came from all over Israel. It was organized. It was organized by rabbis, mostly, not only. And again, people have different views about what happened. Some people say it was a protest. Others say it was a gathering of a big prayer gathering. So there are different views of how people see it. It was beautiful, though. I have to say it was really, really magnificent. It was a lot of very... it was a sea of believers who believe in something bigger than themselves. And yes, there was a lot of prayer there. This is what I've witnessed personally, but people view it differently, and I wanted to understand your view on this.
It's a mixed bag. Before the war, the society was divided pro Supreme Court, anti-Supreme Court. Now the country is divided pro-draft of the religious students or no. What they have in common is keep Jews divided. Keep bringing up things that make it impossible to tolerate each other. Who benefits from this? Hamas. There's something way beyond whether you draft a yeshiva boy or not. It's keeping the society divided, which weakens us terribly. And who benefits from it? Let's say this million-man march was beautiful and organized. What came from it? What will come from it? Probably nothing. Except we are now more polarized, more divided. We've drawn the line more clearly. You are either with us or you're the enemy. You always have to wonder who benefits, who's stirring these things up. The rabbis want to stir up people and get them away from the yeshivas and away from the studies to go marching through the streets? No. So why did they do it? Somebody stirred this up. Somebody paid for this. Somebody lobbied for this and put a lot of work into it to make it happen. Who? And who benefited? I'm afraid the only one who benefits are the Arabs.
Rabbi Friedman, but then the ones who went along with it, they can't be clueless about what they're doing. Why is that happening?
They're not clueless. But they think that the solution is to protest and to scream and to further polarize. They really believe that we need more polarization. We need to exclude the secular from everything. We need to deny them completely, not reckon with them at all. Don't listen to them. Don't give in to them. And this is going to help. They both know that it's an impossible situation. those who say we have to pass a law that every yeshiva boy must be drafted. You know that's not going to happen. Don't even pretend to believe that could happen. It's not going to happen. And those on the yeshiva side, oh, our yeshivas are threatened that it's going to close down all. It's not going to happen. It's a panic created by somebody who benefits from panic.
Rabbi Friedman, then what is the solution? Because on one hand, the big message, and we hear it all over. I mean, even in the most split up places, we hear we have to be biyachad, we have to be one, we have to come together, we have to be. And then every step of the way, we are dividing ourselves into many little pieces. Center left, center right, far left, far right, center, religious, non-religious, Zionist, anti-Zionist. Everything is a division. What is the solution? How do we actually do what really I truly believe all of us really want? This oneness, this biyachad. Everybody is saying it.
So yes, it's a very clearly drawn battle. It's either yachad or split. That's the issue. And it doesn't matter whether it's about drafting, whether it's about women's rights, at the kotel. The positive is the oneness, the negative is the division. And the division can be over anything and everything. And it's really not, the details are not important. I heard this theory, very, very concerning. A doctor was talking about the ads for medicines. This medicine you have to take for this and this and this and this. If you develop a heart attack, if you go blind, if you choke to death, then stop taking it. 10 possible disastrous results. And after mentioning all these 10 horrible things that could happen to you, they say, so what are you waiting for? Order now. So somebody asked the doctor, like, this is going to sell? You really expect people to buy your medicine after you tell them that they could go blind, deaf, and dumb? The doctor's answer was really chilling. He said, they're not trying to sell that product. They're trying, and successfully, to convince people that you have to be sick and go to a doctor. It's a mental state. It's not one product. Speak to your doctor about this. Your doctor. Not a doctor. Your doctor. When's the last time you've seen your doctor? Well, why should I see my doctor? I'm feeling fine. No, you have to go to a doctor. So it promotes the belief that unless you are perfectly healthy, functional, bright, excited, energetic, you must be on medicines. You must be on medicines. What are you taking for that? What are you taking for this? You're not taking any medicines? Are you crazy? Some guy actually came to check my vitals for the insurance company. So when's the last time you had your eyes checked? 10 years ago. 10 years? You have to go right now, have your eyes checked. I said, why? Why? That mentality is making billions and billions of dollars. And it doesn't matter whether you're buying that anti-hay fever product or not. These ads will make you go to a doctor. If you go to a doctor, you're going to buy medicine. It doesn't matter for what, as long as you're on medicine. As long as you're paranoid about your health and go to your doctor for every little thing. So ask your doctor if you need this medicine. I should ask him whether I need a medicine. It's such an evil thing. And most countries don't allow it. They don't allow advertising medicines. I think for this reason. Stop making people think sick. The same is true with Israel and unity. We all know that we need unity. But every ad, every statement, no, division. We don't get along, we don't agree, we're against this, we're against that. You can't tell me, you can't force me, you can't. Who's forcing you? Who's telling you? Calm down. The secular are terrified of kfir datit. Who's even interested in your keeping Shabbos? It's sad but true. The religious people don't care whether you keep Shabbos or not. Just don't come into their neighborhood on Shabbos. So who's going to force you to keep Shabbos? What are you dreaming? Nobody is going to force you to keep Shabbos. They're going to force you to not drive in Meir Sha'arim. And why would you want to drive in Meir Sha'arim on Shabbos? The stores are all closed. So, division for the sake of division, it's a horrible thing. If we can't be divided about the Supreme Court, then let's be divided about draft. And if we can't draft, then let's fight about women. If we can't do that, then just keep the country split. It's been like that since the Beis Hamikdash. So this million-man march, the idea is fine. But who really wanted that march? Who really benefited from it? The people who are looking for oneness or the people who are looking for division?
Rabbi Friedman, what is the solution? Is there a solution for us to, at some point, become one people, which we were meant to be? And the only success we ever had is when we achieved oneness as people. Is there a chance? Is there a chance to achieve it at this stage of the game?
It may sound a little funny, suspicious, but Chabad is the solution. Chabad is the solution. Chabad means there is no distinction between one Jew and another in God's eyes, in the government's eyes, and in your eyes. You want those who are not keeping Shabbos to keep Shabbos? Then talk to them. Don't be angry at them. Israelis who travel and see what's going on in the Jewish communities around the world, they come back convinced. Chabad can do this.
And then there's still a little bit of an animosity in some circles against Chabad still, unfortunately. Yep. I don't get it, but it's the truth.
Yeah. You can always find excuse for animosities. But there's also the other side. The other side is Chabad has what is needed. An attitude of absolute acceptance, of serving each other instead of condemning each other. It works. You just need more people doing it.
Well, hopefully hopefully it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. Rabbi Fridman, thank you so much. This was incredible, insightful, deep, and very needed, I think. Very timely, very needed, as always.
Can you tell us anything positive about the meeting?
A lot of the word has been used, the oneness word has been used, that we need it, we want it. We are not achieving it just yet, but it seems that the desire is there. So I think that's a big positive.
Right.
Is there still a lot of split? Yes, there is a lot of split.
The way to get there is one confession. If each side, it's like marriage counseling, if each side will admit to one mistake, you can patch everything up. But if you can't admit to one mistake, then you're not a partner in peace.
Well, hopefully we're on the verge of making peace complete. Peace towards oneness and unity, and that's definitely the solution, without a doubt. And I think people are beginning to really understand that and want it. So hopefully this is it. Hopefully it's very, very near. So, and Israel is fantastic. It definitely is. What a country.
The former hostages, I think they have the solution.
I think so too. They're definitely our heroes, all of them. Rabbi Fridman, thank you so much. This was incredible, and looking forward to sharing good news next Tuesday, and hopefully we'll get some good news later on today as well. So everybody hang in there, make the right choices, not just political, wise life choices. That's what we're here for. So thank you so much. Ну и с этими словами я, Аня Пекерман, прощаюсь со всеми до следующей недели, до следующего Thank God It's Tuesday. Всем всего хорошего и, надеюсь, хорошего, правильного исхода сегодняшнего дня, сегодняшних выборов. Голосуйте, не забывайте. Всего доброго.